Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I am your host, Kimberly Cloud. So, today, what are we going to do? Hi, cybersecurity. Y'all had it especially realized and recognized for me. Let me go ahead and get on Kick. This wasn't a well thought out plan. Just give me 2 minutes of your time, y'all. Bear with me. I'm almost finished. It's not going to take me but a hop, skip, and a jump. Have y'all ever said, well, where are you? And they're like, I'm on the way. While that's going, um, you know, they be like, take me by McDonald's. Let me stop. I'm just making up stuff. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. Don't drop the line. Don't do it. I didn't hashtag all of y'all for any reason. We're about to go live now in three. Once once they connect, okay, I want to be on all my platforms. Feels good. It feels good. Oh, my voice is coming back. I can hear it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. So today is this evening is round two after hours of Idaho State Senators round two. So what we're going to do is we're going to discuss uh, 2 to 3 various subjects. And what I mean by that is about politicians. I want to see what's going on with politicians over there, over there, over there. I want to know what y'all are doing because I can feel what is the scenario of going on based on your behavior and what you do. And I go back. I'll tell you what I do. I'll go back and I'll hashtag people like Trump and Republicans in the Trump administration, and I'll let them know my interpretations on your behavior. So if you're doing something shameful and it's playing both sides, I can see right through that. I don't necessarily want to be in politics because once you get a certain point, there's no going back. But I'll tell you this, in order to get into politics, I will be into politics and to gain followers and to gain honest, true people that feel the exact same way as me. I will do that. So, um, like I was talking to someone and they told me that they were like, they seen death. They said they seen death, and I couldn't even look them in the eye. I couldn't even look them in the eye when I said, wow, you seen death. That's not a normalized thing. Some people go 90 to 100 years without seeing death. Maybe they see their own death. I don't know how they're going to see their own death, but they see their own death. But yeah, so back to the scenario. We're going to read these politicians, this whole thing together as I don't know if y'all used to watch commercials back in the day, but there was only like 12 stations. Now there's like thousands of different stations worldwide. And but back in the day when it was black and white, feel what I'm saying. If you fall off, you're not meant to hear the message. So there was black and white, and it was channels, a tune screw that you change the channels on. And it's like, boy, man, like times has changed. It went from 12 channels to thousands of channels. Just think about what it's going to be in the next 10 years with new networks coming out. I want to be a part of that wave. I want to be a part of those networks. I want to be included. You're either going to ride the wave, like Mark Zuckerberg said, or you're going to fall behind. And I don't want to be, and my elders talking about, how you use these glasses, Sonny? Well, Mom, I don't think I'll ever be called Mom again, but Mom, you have to press this button right here or go like that. And I'll be like, well, Sonny, show me. I can't even make the noise because I have strep. But yeah, so it's just hilarious, man. What we have came to. I do not want to fall behind on the wave. Back to the senators, the Idaho statesmen. Now they made they made, let's see, did I connect y'all? Nope. Hold on. Bear with me. I'm doing it now. I'm connecting. I'm just gonna put it out there. That's what you want to see. Okay, delete this where they can't see it because they just want attention. They yearn for it. Idaho senators urge President Trump to reverse course on marijuana policy change. Let's listen to what she has to say. Now, there's another lady that I met at the DMV. I don't know her name, but she puts in petitions for marijuana to be legal. It should not, this does not take rocket science, nor does it take brains to figure out the properties that marijuana can help with if given and used productive and independent and professionally. And it's another word, I forgot the word. Y'all know the word I'm trying to say. I'm just going around the word, but you know, respectfully, that's what the cops use. Drive respectfully, drive honestly, don't drive under the influence. That is why, Idaho, I want to build the first machine that has an app. It's an app that can tell whether you're under the influence of what, even if they can't tell what substance you're under the influence, through your iris of this app, you'll be able to tell, you know, if somebody pupil is dilated enough to be under some form of influence. A naked eye cannot tell if somebody under the influence. They probably be like, oh, your pupils are dilated, oh this, oh that, but they don't know. Now a police officer, NSA, CIA, blase blase, ODNI, FBI, they can look, they flash the light in your eyes, and they sometimes they're accurate, sometimes they lie. I don't know, I'm not there, I don't know, but I trust the police and I trust officers. But you do have those very, very few minute that are like, you question, you're like, okay, this is a little skittish, they just want to arrest somebody, but you got those great officers. I say 88.8% of officers. That's accurate, right, officers? That's pretty accurate. That's accurate. The other, what is it? 15, 13, 13%. We a little skittish on 13.3% to be exact, or 13, 12, 12.2%. So that's a very shallow number. But the app, um, you can scan your face, sort of like what they do to you, on a regular basis. I'm just bringing it to the light, and you will be able to see if you're under the influence. And it'll tell you, be like, look, calm down. You can't drive. You take a nap, you wake up, you take the scanner. It's under your own risk and it's going to be ran by the government because too many people, and back in the day, including myself, put lives at risk. I'm not going to lie. And if we have this app, it'll be like, look, your iris is telling me based on the artificial intelligence app that, hey, look, rest for 3 hours. And they'll even give you ideas like drink some cranberry juice or take some morning after pills and take some rest. The main course of anything is rest. When they see belligerent drunk people acting a monkey, they'll sit up there and take them, haul them to jail, and they be the biggest, baddest people. I see it on jail all the time, literally. Hey, I'm the baddest people person. And then 5 minutes later, it goes left, and the police is like, "Yep, he spit it on me, so we had to lock him in a cage. I mean, not a cage, a chair, and put a harness over him, And they think they're the baddest person, and then they be crying like little sissies, you know. I just want to get out. I promise to be good. It's sad, man. It's sad. Those are the people that need to be arrested, not the people that risk their records to just get marijuana to enlighten themselves. Not the ones that risk their record for that. People that spit on cops, hit cops, wave around knives. You can never say I waved a knife around on you and I have it on camera. I wave my hand. I love waving my hands. I come in peace. But other than that, I am not a violent person. So basically, it's not organized. Why put a record on someone, an innocent person, for something so minute when crack cocaine, fentanyl, methamphetamine, it's out there and we're trying to keep that contained? I'm just going to read this thing. This is good enough. How is it that is organized as Boise, Idaho bureaucratic government is? You were disorganized with making medicinal marijuana legal, and now we lead to. I can't watch this whole thing because I'm afraid that they may copyright my stuff. But Idaho U.S. senators have sounded alarm with President Trump over his recent decision to relax federal marijuana restrictions. Republicans Mike Crapo and Jim Reach each signed a letter sent to Trump opposing his executive order this month that directs reclassification of marijuana to a lower level drug. In the U.S., initial word of the president's intentions generated a stern reply from 22 Grand Old Party senators, GOP. In the light of the documented dangers of marijuana, we will never know the real statistics. You mix a gateway, marijuana is a gateway drug, yes, I'll admit. But on the other hand, marijuana alone can do some really powerful stuff to people. No one knows the statistics on how many individuals that put their lives or did dangerous stuff was on that other drug, K2, like marijuana, or mix K2 with marijuana, or mix cocaine with marijuana, or mix meth with marijuana. That is the danger. Mixing a gateway drug like marijuana. But there's no statistics on that. And look at the dangers that y'all house here as a cop going out every day, not knowing if someone have a gun in their car and will shoot them on contact like they do on the regular. Not here, but other major cities. The marijuana industry is at odds with growing our economy. And exactly. That y'all don't know. Y'all know. And it's like this is becoming a Democrat thing to do. Cause it's like A plus B equals C. A plus A equal B. A equal A. If you open up marijuana shops here for people to flourish, alcohol is more unproductive than it's a social drug. And y'all managed to put that legal across the United States, and yet we are stumbled and riddled on marijuana. It inhibits your driving. One day, I know y'all hate to hear this, police officers and everybody else, but one freaking day, you are going to be taking some form of THC in the shots. And the same with the military. That is why they're considering research for it. Do you think that's just like when the alien from Hawaii, the great alien came to visit me? You think because I just put the covers over my head and blacked out that it's just gonna pop up and say, Kimberly don't want to play no more. I guess I'll go home. No. We urge you like the economy is booming. The economy is that growth. The federal government could put funding into the bureaucratic state that will grow and make more people come here with less offenses and less issues. Depending on how you grow it, depending on what chemicals you use for it, depending on how you research it well. I mean, this has been since the 70s. You have to think who actually taught people, I'll put it to you like this, and I'll let you ponder it. Who actually taught humans how to consume? I know the government has shops now, but prior to that, let's go back thousands of years because marijuana been here for thousands of years. Who actually taught somebody like a caveman? Because this is heritage. This is stuff going way back. Eh, I leave it to you to ponder that one. Now, you ponder that and then think, where are we going in the future with this? And I've told you already, if the government is researching it, it's for a reason. And that's why, you know, I feel that they should not have intercepted or even wrote President Trump about something so minute unless there's an ulterior motive. Because what's going to happen is people are going to get pulled over. There's going to be stings. People are going to have tickets when they didn't have to have tickets for something so minute unless they're driving under the influence. Trump's goal and shifted, and that's another invention. Another invention. Forget looking in the iris. I know y'all have this. Forget looking in the iris. Let's just look at the, I mean, y'all have to have it because if y'all can figure out 7 days and predict 7 days of what pattern the weather is going to make based on the patterns and how hot, based on the redness, the yellow, or the green, you can predict that. So, President Joe Biden, it followed through on his plans by his predecessor, President Joe Biden, to reclassify marijuana, first initiated May 2024. But there was a delay, a federal government long delay in recognizing the medicinal use of marijuana, which they felt did not serve Americans who report health benefits from the medicinal use of marijuana. So if you do marijuana, thank the government and the chemists. You know, when I'm not perfect, but when I finally got off probation, I told myself I will, it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, how for a short-lived period of time, he said he had his braces in his mouth and he was like, well, I'll go try all the chocolate in the world. And so he goes to this museum and he's walking on flagpole after flagpole trying different chocolates and candies, and bam, he's right back in America. That is how I am because this is beneficial and I can prove it. I am testimony. When I was in Seattle, I was using an wash ashganda, which is a mood calmer and cognitive function marijuana, and then I was using lion's mane, which also helps with cognitive function, but there needs to be more. This is just trying out stuff that's on the market already, off the market. Like I said, we are not even in the infancy stages. It's like the baby is still pregnant. The fetus is still in the body, about to give birth. We're at 9 months right now with marijuana. Don't fall behind on technology and die out your state because you want to have ulterior motives. What is your ulterior motive from keeping marijuana from people and yet slapping charges on innocent people? Americans who often seek alternative relief from chronic pain symptoms are particularly impacted. Despite the easing of cannabis laws in most Idaho neighborhood states and across the nation, marijuana remains illegal in the gem state amongst all forms. Within the Pacific Northwest and Mountain West, only Wyoming maintains the same level as Idaho in outlawing the drug. People say that they need more. I read somewhere else, it was about a mayor. I forgot what it was about. I was going to go back to it, but I forgot. But a mayor, people were telling the mayor as he was exiting his mayorship, as I say it, I'll say it. He's exiting his mayorship here in Boise or wherever he is in Idaho. And since he's exiting, it's like people are saying why. They're saying what they want. And they were saying they need more retail. I'm like, the retail ain't the problem. Big tech is coming and they're coming with full force. I know y'all have big tech. I'm fully aware of what technology y'all have, except for top secret. But what I'm saying is not to weaponize your technology, I don't know what you're doing with it. I can't see you. I don't know. But not to weaponize it, but emerge with federal. Because one day you're going to need the quantum computing. You're still in digital, and people broke in. I don't know if you're in the quantum yet, but I believe you're still in digital. But people that were in, where was it at? He was in Chicago. They broke into his system. They tried to hack his system. So it's hackable, your system is. All it takes is the right people, but you got a plus about you. And this is a gold. You're sitting on a gold mine. This is a gold mine. You have so many beneficials like possible marijuana and other technology that we can bring, you know, but one day you will need federal, like you kind of do now. Somebody is going to get help. And the only benefit is that it's majority white people. White people have no need to hack other white people except white collar crime. But I don't see state officials that are white hacking into the system for another white person. I see foreigners, they will hack into the system. I see when Microsoft said 50 more years, a foreigner jumped up talking about genocide. I see foreigners going to colleges and intimidating people. I see foreigners getting into high end jobs and using and abusing their job for power and fame or scheming. But I don't see they are useless here. I don't hear nothing. I don't hear no buzz. I know it's corruption. Don't get me wrong. I know it's in an angelic state, but nowhere is an angelic state. It's a great United States of America, but there's corruption everywhere. And that is why, you got people like Trump that is trying to dissipate that vengeance of corruption from all the way across to Asia. Asia has heavy influence, but America is smart because the influence that Asia has, we want Asia to have the influence. If we shut China out, and I don't know if China knows this, yeah, he better read the art of the deal. If we were to shut China out, we would probably be unbeknownst of what can go on or what is going on. And then they would possibly surpass us. So that's the only reason we really need them. And their stuff that says made in China. But it makes me mad the influence that Chinese have on the Democrats. I mean, in some Republicans, like Liz Cheney, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and other people that claim their bloodline is Republican. I have a reason why I flipped on Trump because whatever they were giving me through the government was making me do it. And you've seen the commercials and what I said. So you know what I'm trying to say, how I performed that day or those weeks or week. That was a Democrat state I was in. So yeah, despite the easing of cannabis laws in most Idaho neighboring states and across the nation, Do you not know how many people will stop using the production with Big Pharma? Big Pharma, if they were smart, we're selling out Big Pharma like Fauci, marijuana. This is coming from Fauci. Whoever is stopped in cock blocking is like Fauci. They rather make a buck off of other things, pharmaceuticals, than enhancing medications that help enlighten people. You take too much of anything and it's not good. You take and you self medicate yourself and analyze yourself and say, that's not too good. You be your own doctor. I think I did too much of that, or let me try a little less next time because I don't want to feel loopy. You take too much marijuana, you're going to go to sleep. Some people love to feel that way. I don't like to feel that way. That's why medical or marijuana is beneficial because they got stuff like sativa, they got stuff like indica, they got stuff like hybrid, which is indica and sativa. Some people want to feel loopy. I don't like that feeling. You asked me 25 years down the line if I like that feeling, and I would have been like, hell yeah. I don't like that feeling. I don't want to go to sleep, really. It's too much to do throughout the day. And I may not have like Elon Musk income, but I think like Grok. Hey, Grok. So despite the easing of cannabis laws in most Idaho's neighborhood states and across the nation, marijuana remains illegal in the gem state and amongst all forms within the Pacific. Okay, I read this already. All other states in two regions permit at least medical use. Representative Bruce Skog, Republican Napa, who chairs the House Judiciary Committee of the Idaho legislature, sponsored two bills that became into law to curb already illegal marijuana use in Idaho. One set, see, somebody want money. One set of three. I didn't even read all of this. It didn't take me long to figure out the reason with the perfect setup. One set of $300 minimum fine. The state wants it. And they know they're not telling the police this shit. And some of the police are catching on. That's why they don't even pursue really petty marijuana crimes like that. They probably monitor it and see if it gets out of control. The steepest in the U.S. for misdemeanor possession of less than 3 ounces of the drug. The second law will be put before voters a constitutional. Imagine getting caught every time. 300 minimum fine, up to probably $5,000, depending on what judge you get and how they feel at that day and how they think you are and how their judgment is. A second law will put before voters a constitutional amendment in 2026 that, if passed, would allow only legislator to legalize certain drugs in the state, including only the legislator. And the only thing you can think of, Bruce Scogg, is a minimum fine. And y'all couldn't have got together in a bunch, in a whole group, to figure out that that's hurting the Idaho. This is your way to help Idaho, is to carry a $300 minimum fine to your white and Hispanic majority and then black counterparts that does marijuana, and you feel like got the brunt end of the stick. You couldn't get together and say, think of a better law. You just slapped this together and said, let me do this. That didn't take much thought. I'm not trying to talk junk, but you couldn't think of anything. Who is this coming from? A minimum set, $300. That's a car note. And that's minimum fine. And then they got a record. It may not be on record, maybe. I don't know how the law works, but it's still a record you're carrying. And the more they do it, the more it grows into a felony. That's not right. You're building cases on majority white people and Hispanics. I'm out. I mean, I'm not saying I can't be caught because I know I can if I do it. How? Skog said he and Idaho, two U.S. senators, are on the same page in a response to Trump's executive order. An interview with the Idaho statesman, Skog described himself as very disappointed by the president's decision. It does not follow the science of data or the data. Wow. It definitely follows the science or data. You're trying to intercept him and someone is paying you to do it. You would rather $1 billion to $1 trillion business in your state than 1 million and then get paid by the Democrats money to compensate you not legalizing marijuana. I don't even need to read no more. Let's read what President Biden said. I'm not on TikTok no more, so I'm going to give my opinion on this. It is important to move towards reversing longstanding inequalities. Sleepy Joe said they kind of jerked it around, so I can't see where Sleepy Joe said of efforts to reschedule the drug, far too many lives have been upended because of a failed approach to marijuana. So you're saying it's a lot of crime due to marijuana. Now, you allowed China to bring in and smuggle drugs to kill 25,000 lives for 4 years of your term. Venezuela was happy with you. You may have had beef with China, but you allowed it. It shows. So why would you take be so slow to marijuana and so powerful to the COVID shot and then withdraw the and close down the baby formula plant and get baby formula from foreign countries? But marijuana is the problem, Sleepy Joe? Trump's action this month is not expected to have an immediate impact, including in states such as Idaho, where the drug remains illegal from almost all uses, said Attorney Josh Herwood, who served as U.S. Attorney for Idaho during the Biden administration. Hmm, hmm. Already, federal prosecutors were directed to no longer pursue low level possession offenses. Good. Even as state prosecutors retain the authority to do so if they wish, he told Statement in a phone interview. The Trump executive order does not really change the federal dynamic where we are now, says Hewitt, and now a private attorney at Holler and Hart firm in Boise. It could theoretically, if marijuana is rescheduled and you get more research done, there could be policy efforts that trickle out either at state, federal, or local levels. But it's not a sea change right now. At the very least, Trump's decision signals a continuation of the Justice Department's de emphasis under Biden of prosecutors for having using marijuana. You're not speaking about under the Biden of prosecutions for having or using marijuana. I don't get what that means. I could ask Grok, but Trump's decision, a continuation, an extension of the Justice Department's de-emphasize. To emphasize something is to boost it up or engage creatively or boast about it. De-emphasis is to not boast under Biden of prosecutions for having or using marijuana. Yes, that's what I would like. It would be inconsistent if federal prosecutors started bringing charges given the rescheduling process and executive order. Herbert said legally or operationally they could, but that's clearly not the focus in this administration or the focus point. I mean, they're entitled to their opinions. I'm not saying just straight not challenge the situation, but to resist fully, to resist someone and not respect someone in office. It's all I'm saying. Respect the people who is trying to bring peace. Rescheduling would also give a massive tax break to marijuana companies. See, the letter, what? The letter further warned. So listen up there, chemists. I have to give y'all a round of applause. All the chemists out there. So basically what they're saying is that you have like a massive tax break to marijuana companies, the latter further warned. Um, Marijuana business leaders would have said they would use this infusion of funds to increase their marketing and expand their businesses into additional states. That is what we want. What was before that? Ted Budd, Republican possession and use. After Trump's executive order, Buzz swiftly issued a follow up statement that called the president's action short sighted policy decision that risked detrimental effects on the health and safety of America's, especially our nation's youth. Think about that for a second. Our nation's youth. Were they worried when fentanyl is knocking them dead, or they recruiting young teens, or these Democrat states are allowing these teens to get out and shoot people in cold blood? Why didn't you care about them then? Be thankful you have a good city. You were about to ruin your city and let your city go in shambles. And not just city, but state. You're going to depend on certain things that are similar to what um, I won't even predict that because that's misrepresentation or misinformation. Requests for comments sent to the congressional offices for Crapo and Risch went unreturned Monday. Automatic email replies said the office spokesperson um, will always for the 3 year end holidays during the beginning of January. Rich is 82, running for re-election. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I don't even know who he is, but based on the behavior, why are you calling out Trump? People that are in their 80s that have been in Senate for a while, they know people. They even rock with people that you would never think that they would rock with. Like when Nancy finally expires, which I'm not looking forward to, I hope she stays alive for a while, a long while. She probably don't think the same about me, but when she do expires, um, Gavin Newsom is her nephew, and by the time he reached 80, you're gonna have some Republicans that get blackmailed. They let them get nice and comfortable, and they extract information from them. And that's probably what happened. I don't know. I wasn't there to Marjorie because I remember I knew something like this was going to happen before it happened, and that was almost 4 or 5 years ago because she was too hyper. Number one, number two, Biden said out his mouth. Biden said out his mouth. Everybody that he ever said this to, in other words, they turned on Trump. He's like, I know Marjorie, they don't have this skit no more. They don't have the reel no more. They took it down. They paid to take some reels down because it was damaging to them. But he was like, yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene would probably be better if she got paid from the Democrat team. He didn't say it in those words. And I said, don't do it, Marjorie Taylor. And then all of a sudden she was cool with Trump. And she been cool with Trump, but then like she flipped. It's like she got as much as she could to see how much she can get out of him. That's why, sir, I don't even want to meet you because I don't want to extract no information. I just want to read what you and everybody else put and make my own judgment. Isn't that what it's about? Free speech. Fifth term. Fifth term. 4 times 5, 20 years or 30 or 40. I don't know how many years is in a term with election. 6 years. 6 times 5, 30. That's all I'm gonna read. That's good enough. That's all I got. So yeah, man, like it's crazy. It's crazy out here. We need to find a way to sit up there and get Boise on track like every other city with marijuana. A lot of people want this, not just me. I can see if I was the only person that wanted this. I can see if I was the only person that wanted this. But people out there want that. And one day, believe it or not, people are going to be fighting years from now. I don't know if it's decades over mixing, which they do already, but they're finally going to make it known once they make the perfect strand where it doesn't intoxicate an officer, but an officer have a heightened sense of when um danger is, or maybe he's more alert, or he can see more than like it's so many possibilities. That's just sci-fi now, right? just like the Neuralink, just like nanobots, just like Z, yes, Z, studying chemical bioengineering. The fuck do you think that entails? Bringing food over here, or, you know, you know what I'm saying? We say it's like a 2-year-old. We say, don't do that. And you do it anyway. Okay, I'll stop. Let's work together. And then something in the brain don't click because they're two. But try adult that is immortal, possibly. Y'all agreeing, making an agreements and shit. And it's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll work with you. I'll give you rare earth minerals. You know, I'll give you everything you want, and you can give me what you want. It's going to be equal. And then turn around, and guess what happens? Renege. That's what 2-year-olds do. But something in a 2-year-old brain doesn't work. They're not yet mature, so you can't blame the 2-year-old. That's why we need classes on that. Certain parents do need classes. But what do you do when an adult acts like that? I mean, he got so mad over in China at me that ByteDance took away my page until January, till the new year. So I'm like stuck without TikTok. So I have every right to tell Z who that person is. I have respect for him as a human or whatever entity he is. He's a part of the language, that the Mandarin language that is built within the Chinese governmental system. I'm not talking junk about him, but I'm telling the truth. If you are an older adult, whatever you're working on, the things that you say out your mouth shows that at any moment, with given power, you would fuck up America and wipe us out, and we will all be speaking Mandarin, or we wouldn't even know what the fuck to do. You've said it before. So, no, I don't respect you, but I respect you at the same time. This is my homeland, United States of America. And you have caused my people to die. I don't care if they like me or not, but you have caused some of my people to die at the hands of these immigrants that come back and forth on a boat. So let them keep trying. And Trump, I feel the exact same way Trump do, playing a video game. Boop. I've met a guy from Vandenberg Space Force while in Santa Maria that was pressing the presidential button, one of the presidential buttons that blows up the boats. He was Asian. So don't get me wrong, I've been around. And that's all I'm going to say. We ended on a good note. And now you know who I am. You'll be hearing more from me.